Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on October 21st. The NBA is back. The first games are tonight on Peacock, I believe. It's going to be confusing to keep track of Prime, Peacock, NBC, ESPN, FanDuel, all that. Slowly turn into the NFL. Guys, hope y'all are doing absolutely phenomenal. Welcome back to our very last podcast before the basketball season starts. Now, I just want to remind y'all, all of these podcasts are going to be live. Now, if you don't catch them live, it's okay. They'll be posted on this channel later, but they will all be live streamed on this YouTube channel, Jay-Z Courtside, that you're watching on right now, as well as our Twitch. That's called Jay-Z Uncut. All the links will be down below, so don't you worry. TikTok, everywhere. They will be live at 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So if you want to catch them live and be a part of the live crew, be sure to either come here at 9 a.m. Eastern, maybe a couple minutes early, or on the Twitch. Again, that's Jay-Z Uncut, which is also the main name that we go by online. So be sure to subscribe to our main YouTube channel, Jay-Z Uncut, for some NBA documentaries. Guys, before we get started, be sure to leave a 5-star review if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. It really, really, really helps a lot, like more than you guys could possibly ever understand. Guys, y'all saw the title, thumbnail. You know what the agenda is today. I cannot wait because tomorrow is going to be our first live podcast. Again, 9 a.m. Eastern live. I hope to see y'all there. This is the first day of the NBA. I mean, it feels like Christmas. It feels like Christmas, y'all. Guys, this podcast, I want to go over a few things. So we're going to go over my predictions for all of the NBA awards from MVP down to Clutch Player of the Year. Okay? Once we go over all my predictions there, I want to just briefly talk about all the recent free agent signings in the last 2 weeks just to make sure y'all are up to date, as well as in key players around the league that are going to be missing time that was announced just within the last week at the start of the season. All right. So I say, let's just get right into this, right? We got the list out of the way. Let's get right into it. Our first and most important award. Y'all see that new graphic on the YouTube? Y'all see that new graphic? Y'all like it or not? Let me know. Our 2025-2026 NBA award prediction for the MVP of the league. As you guys know, gilgeous-alexander did win MVP last year, so he's got the best odds to win it this year at plus 160. Nikola Jokic following at second, Luka Doncic at third, Wembanyama at fourth. Now that's insane. Giannis at fifth and Anthony Edwards at sixth. Okay, so who do I believe is going to win MVP this year? If you guys have listened to the last few podcasts that we've done, you guys already know my MVP pick, right? There's a trend that was going on over the last few seasons. Let me just regurgitate that again if you haven't heard. Nikola Jokic won his first MVP. The year after that, Giannis Antetokounmpo won his MVP. Then the year after that, Nikola Jokic won his second MVP. The year after that, Joel Embiid won his MVP. The year after that, Nikola Jokic won his MVP. Last year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won MVP. So this year, I'm just going to follow the same path that we've been going through the last few years. I am picking Nikola Jokic to win MVP this coming season. And I don't think it's that hot of a take. The main thing that is hurting Jokic's possibilities of winning, there's two. Number one, I'm not sure if the media and the front offices want to give Nikola Jokic his fourth MVP. Because once you win number 4, you enter an entirely different echelon of ranking in the top players of all time. I don't know if they want to give that to a one-time champion. How many can Jokic get? Who knows? They're my pick to win it all this year. The Denver Nuggets are. I'm not sure if the media wants to award Shea Gilgeous-Alexander back-to-back MVPs. Over the last 7 seasons, you guys know we've had no repeat champions. Over the last, 5 years now, we haven't had repeat MVPs. They just don't like giving MVPs back-to-back. It's called voters fatigue, which is BS. Let's just all be real with each other. It's BS. You know, LeBron should have 10 MVPs. Jordan should have 10 MVPs. Yeah, like these level of talents should not be dictated on whether or not they've won the last year. My pick is Nikola Jokic, and I'll tell y'all the second reason why I think it's going to be hard for him to win. I believe Jokic has only won more than, I think, 53 games one time in his career. And obviously, they award the regular season MVP based off of how they do in the regular season. If the OKC Thunder are still on just this utter rampage that they were on last year, which nothing's stopping them, they should only be better. They should only be better. There should be no drop off. They didn't lose anybody. And if anything, they've all improved from last year. So there shouldn't be a drop off. Plus, they're going to have Chet Holmgren healthy. Fingers crossed. Last year, he missed like 2/3 of the season? So now he's going to be healthy? And you expect him to be worse. I don't see how. For some reason, last year, I don't want to get too off topic here. But for some reason, the last season, everyone thought the Celtics would go back to back. They thought they would end the league of parity. And they thought that they would go back to back. Well, even without Tatum going down, they weren't beating the Knicks. And for some reason this year, people don't think that the Thunder can go back to back. Now, people are saying they're too young. Well, they did it last year. So if they can do it last year and they're a year older now, mature, stronger, better at basketball, I see no reason why they can't go back to back. But if Nikola Jokic can somehow secure 53 to, let's say, 57 wins, I see no problem with Nikola Jokic claiming his 4th MVP. I really don't. The Nuggets are going to be better than they were last year. And mind you, when it went to Game 7 last year, it could have went either way. If Aaron Gordon was fine, if he wasn't hurt, if Michael Porter Jr. wasn't hurt, like this team should have won. So it's not outlandish to say that they're my favorites to win this year. With the additions of Cam Johnson, Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench, Bruce Brown off the bench, and Jonas Valanciunas being a backup center to Nikola Jokic, so people don't have to just hold their breath for every second that Jokic is off the court. I truly believe Jokic will be the MVP this year, pending health, pending the record, seeing if they have Team Chem. I really do believe Nikola Jokic will be winning MVP, and that's my prediction. Mind you guys, I don't think this is going to be that long of a podcast compared to the other ones that we had previously because they were actual breakdowns and ranking the top 10 player in each position. Be sure to go watch/listen to those before the season kicks off. You got plenty of time. And you can binge all of those and we'll still be a few hours away from tip-off. So that's my prediction for MVP. I believe it's going to be Nikola Jokic. And if you guys think different, then let me know in the comments down below. Sorry, I was taking a sip out of my coffee. Up next, we have the 2025-2026 NBA defensive. Okay, never mind. I have the most improved player. Let me not get ahead of myself. That's my apologies. Most improved player. Leading the charge is Amen Thompson at plus 850. Second is Josh Giddey, Benedict Mathurin at third. Andrew Nembhard, that's 2 Pacers on this list. Denvi Advia at number 5 for the Portland Trailblazers, as well as Shaedon Sharpe, who just got paid and we'll talk about after all the awards. And I believe Ausar Thompson is right there at number 7. Apparently, he just dropped off the list because Ausar Thompson, when I checked yesterday, was 4th. I don't know. Maybe Denny and Shaedon Sharpe knocked him out then. So Amen Thompson for most improved player. Can I be honest with everybody listening? I know the hype train of Amen Thompson is immense. Me being a Pistons fan, obviously I'm trying to stay positive and look forward towards the future with Asar Thompson. Amen has a year and a half on Asar. Asar went out the year prior in the 2023-24 season due to his blood clots, missed the entire summer, missed the entire training camp, and missed a quarter of the season due to his blood clots. And when he came back, he was only averaging about 15 minutes per game. You saw it in the playoffs if you were watching against the Knicks. JB kept taking him out in crucial time, which was just extremely unfortunate. So, Amen Thompson leading the pack at plus 850. A good lead on second place, which is Josh Giddey. Now, I'm bought into the Amen Thompson train. I think the only thing that's helping his case so much is because they lost Fred VanVleet. I'm pretty confident that Amen Thompson throttled up this most improved list when Fred VanVleet was announced that he has torn his ACL. I don't know if you guys saw, but the Houston Rockets announced their starting lineup yesterday. And Kevin Durant is going to be the shooting guard of this team. At least the way they're starting the year off. And Amen Thompson is going to be running point guard. This team, arguably one of the stature-wise biggest teams in NBA history. They're starting Amen Thompson, who's 6'7" at point guard. And then you have Kevin Durant, who is 6'10", Buddy is 7 foot. I think Amen Thompson could run away with this award. His only issue is going to be efficiency. He's going to be forced to ball handle. He's going to be their primary ball handler. I don't know if Amen's ready for that. He's going to be forced to take shots because they have no shooting. Outside of Durant, they have no shooting in this lineup. Now, I'm going to see this team firsthand. The Pistons play, I'm going to be watching all of these games on League Pass because you can separate them, on 4 screens. But I'm going to see them firsthand on the second game of the season because the Pistons are in Houston. So I'm very interested. But Amen Thompson, he's going to be demanded. He's going to be asked to shoot. He's probably got the green light as well. He's going to be asked to be the primary ball handler. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. And I think that alone is going to throttle him up the most improved player. His numbers are going to jump up across the board. He's going to bring it on defense. I hope his defense doesn't get hindered because he's going to have to be moving around a lot on offense. We'll see. Typically, he was running down the court and, sitting in the dunker spot or in the corner. But now he's going to be asked to bring the ball up the court almost every possession, other than when Durant wants to bring it up. I don't know how this Houston Rockets team is going to look. I think if they had Fred VanVleet, I'd be a lot more confident in them. But them missing him and thus thrusting Amen Thompson, it's sort of kind of scary. We'll talk about Durant's extension at the end of this podcast as well after we go through all the awards. But yeah, I do have Amen Thompson in most improved, and I do think it's not BS, but it's sort of being handed to him. With Fred VanVleet missing, he's going to be asked to step up and do way more than he was asked to do last year. So I do have Amen Thompson. But I kind of want to talk about Andrew Nembhard a little bit because Nembhard could reap the same benefits. Unfortunately, Tyrese Halliburton has his torn Achilles. But now Andrew Nembhard is going to be the primary ball handler. We saw what he does in the playoffs. He's great defensively, and he's a great offensive player in ISO and pick and roll. So I think we're going to see one of two things with Nembhard. He's going to have a huge year and be a top-tier candidate for most improved, or Pacers fans are going to realize that he is a number 2, number 3. He's not a number 1. Now, I hope it's not the latter for Pacers fans. I do believe Nembhard could behave as a number 1. Obviously, he's going to be changing. The ball handlers are going to be between him and TJ McConnell. But I think Nembhard has a very, very strong case to explode this year. So you want my top 2 guesses? I'd say Amen Thompson and Andrew Nembhard. And it could go either way. But for now, for the sake of this podcast, I am going to roll with Amen Thompson winning most improved player. Now, up next, we have Rookie of the Year. And this is the most lopsided, this is the most lopsided results that I'm going to be showing you guys. Cooper Flagg leading the charge at a minus 220 in odds. Ace Bailey following second at plus 900. Look at that difference. After Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson, then Dylan Harper, then VJ Edgecombe, then Con Knipple. Love his name. Con Knipple. Listen, I'm not going to be those guys that say Ace Bailey has a real chip. He does. He does. I won't be surprised if Ace Bailey towards the end of the year is in the, like, not just in the conversation, but it's like a toss-up. Cooper Flagg's biggest issue here is that he's going to be next to an elite team. He has a great team around him with AD, good centers in Lively and Gafford. They have a good team. Their main issue is that Kyrie Irving is out and they traded Luka Doncic, but none of this would have happened if they still had Luka. I think that's their main culprit here, is that they're missing Kyrie, but he has a lot of talent around him, so he might not be asked to do a whole lot. I hope, for fans' sake, that they will use this year as a Cooper Flagg year. Let us see what he can do. Let him go crazy. Put the ball in his hands. Let him be a primary ball handler sometimes. Let him relieve D'Angelo Russell. And I think he could run away with this award, pending health. We're talking no injuries, by the way. All these awards, we don't want injuries to happen. There's already a lot that we're going to mention at the end, but I hope that all of these guys can stay healthy, especially the young guys. But again, if they're healthy, Cooper Flagg should run away with this. It just depends on whether or not he's asked to do a lot. He's not going to be asked to do too much. He is a rookie. They have Anthony Davis. They got D'Lo. They got a bunch of great forwards on this team as well as centers. The only thing stopping Cooper Flagg is the system that Jason Kidd runs. But knowing Jason Kidd, he is going to use Cooper Flagg as a point forward, like Jason Kidd did with Giannis way back when he was a Milwaukee head coach. So if anybody's thinking that Ace Bailey scoring alone is going to be able to do it, because honestly, I won't be surprised if Ace Bailey puts up 20 per game this year. I don't see Cooper Flagg averaging 20 a game. He could make me look like an utter fool by me saying that. But Ace Bailey is going to put up those numbers. I think Lauri Markkanen is the only guy that's going to be hurting Ace Bailey's odds at winning Rookie of the Year, because he's the other prolific scorer in their starting lineup. So I think Ace Bailey could keep it a tight race, as well as Trey Johnson and Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper's probably going to be backing up De'Aaron Fox. VJ Edgecombe's going to have a scary year. I think he's going to be extremely entertaining to watch with how athletic he is. But knowing what Jason Kidd is going to do with Cooper Flagg, he's probably going to surprise him and run him at point forward. It's not going to be a surprise to him, but it'll be a surprise to casual fans. I think Cooper Flagg has the best odds, obviously, at winning Rookie of the Year this year. And I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about based off that. I don't like putting this much pressure on young talents, but because we're talking about Rookie of the Year, I feel like it's okay. It's like when people give up on young players too soon. Like, I can't tell you how many people I had to talk down to when they were saying that Cade Cunningham was a bust, just based off his first 2-3 years. And then look, you give a guy a little time to prove themselves, and now look, he's an MVP candidate. So I think Cooper Flagg could very well run away with this award, but Ace Bailey could keep it close. If he's putting up 20 to 23 points per game, I think it's a conversation. Obviously, if Cooper Flagg's on a winning team, they might give him a little bit more of an edge there. But I think it could be close, y'all. I think it could be close. Up next, we have Sixth Man of the Year. Sixth Man of the Year. The guy leading the charge, but not by much, is Naz Reid at a plus 950. Up next is DeAndre Hunter for the Cavs at 1,100. Josh Hart for the Knicks at 1,100. Tari Eason, Anthony Simons, and John Collins. I know the Clippers said that they're unsure of whether they're starting him at their 4 or bringing him off the bench. The Clippers are deep, so whatever they do, I think they'll be fine. But let's start off with Naz Reid. Nas Reed won six man, what, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And he's the number one candidate this year. Now, I believe this award is truly going to be a toss up. I think this is the most toss up award on this list, other than Clutch Player of the Year. Mainly because Nas Reed is going to do what he does, and the Timberwolves are going to win. Obviously, they lost NAW, but that just makes Nas Reed's role even more important off the bench. Now that he doesn't really have to share that spotlight with another backup player. So I think Nas Reed could have a better year than last. Next, we have DeAndre Hunter. The Cavs are going to win games. Nobody is worried about the Cleveland Cavaliers winning regular season games. They're worried about them in the playoffs. Obviously, they acquired DeAndre Hunter by the trade deadline last season. And he's a great player. He's a very talented player. He can put the ball in the hoop at a crazy speed. So he's got good odds too. The Cavs and Timberwolves are both going to be winning teams. That's only going to help their case. Then we have Josh Hart, who is honestly my pick. He's my pick for this year's sixth man of the year. And let me explain. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson. Swap him for Yabusele if he's hurt. And then you have Josh Hart off the bench. Now, we might see him start sometimes throughout this year, but if he's the sixth man for the majority, then obviously he's eligible for this award. Hear me out. A lot of six men, they play in short spurts. Most of them. You need a scoring plug like Lou Will, get in there. Jamal Crawford, you want an ISO ball, short period of time, BR Sparkle, get in there. Josh Hart is going to be their sixth man, but he's going to be playing probably more than the starters, if not the same amount. Josh Hart's minutes are only going to go down this year because Tom Thibodeau is not their head coach anymore, and Mike Brown is. Mike Brown's not going to burn them to the ground in the regular season. Mike Brown's not going to allow them to play ISO ball for 20 seconds out of the shot clock. Mike Brown is not going to be sitting his most energetic guy on the bench for the majority of the game. I promise you, Josh Hart will come in around the 6 to 7 minute mark left in the first quarter, play the rest of the first, and probably start the second quarter as well. Josh Hart is an inexhaustible engine, and I don't see him sitting on off the floor a whole lot. And then, yeah, you have Tari Eason, Anthony Simons for the Celtics, John Collins. I think your top three guys should be the ones that you want to think about the most. Nas Reed, he's done it before. He can do it again. He's a 6'11 power forward as a six man. Like, this dude gets buckets. You have DeAndre Hunter on another winning team in the Cleveland Cavaliers, who I don't think is going to be. It's tough. It's tough because I know the Cavs' goal here is to run Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland sporadically. They don't want to just, they want to stagger their minutes just so they can see how they can look in the playoffs when they got to stagger their minutes, right? But now you have Lonzo Ball and DeAndre Hunter off the bench. And if Lonzo, I don't want to say if, when he's healthy, he's going to be feeding that rock like you haven't seen in years. We all know the level of passer Lonzo Ball is, right? He may not be as athletic as he once was due to all of his injuries, but he's going to be putting that rock in everyone's hands, and I think DeAndre Hunter is going to be the lucky recipient. But my overall pick for sixth man of the year is Josh Hart of the New York Knicks. I hate the Knicks. You guys know that. But I got Josh Hart winning it this year. I think it'll just look great on his resume as well. I mean, the Knicks are my pick to make it out of the East. And it's all sort of reliance on their six men. So if DeAndre Hunter does claim six man, and he is averaging 18 off the bench, give him the award. But I just think Josh Hart might not put the ball in the hoop at a crazy rate like DeAndre Hunter and Nas Reed. But I think Josh Hart does all the little things much better than Nas Reed and DeAndre Hunter. Much better. Quick reminder, guys, now that we are about halfway into this podcast, be sure to leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Music, and leave a like and subscribe on YouTube. Up next, we have Defensive Player of the Year. I got ahead of myself earlier. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I think we all know who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, right? His name is Victor Wembanyama at a -185. Chet Holmgren following up second at +650. Amen Thompson, Evan Mobley, Anthony Davis, Dyson Daniels, and then Asar Thompson. And I got Asar Thompson. Victor Wembanyama is going to be winning Defensive Player of the Year. He was going to win it last year. We all know he was going to win it last year. We all know that. He was averaging 3.8 blocks per game last year. 4 blocks per game. Let's just say 4. Had he reached the minimum games you have to play, being 60 games, is it 60? 65. One or the other. To be eligible for these awards, you have to play those amount of games. So stupid, by the way. Just ridiculous. They got to lower that to like 50. I think 50 is a nice sweet spot number. Victor Wembanyama is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He averaged 4 blocks a game. I think Victor Wembanyama has potential here to get a bunch of 5x5 stats. People say that he could get a quadruple double. Yeah, I mean, if he can't, then I don't see anybody doing that. And this is not to discredit Chet Holmgren, who's at number 2, and Amen Thompson's at number 3, but Evan Mobley, who won Defensive Player of the Year last season, and he's at 4th. That's interesting, right? Don't you think you should go Wembanyama then Mobley, just considering that he won last year? Now, I know Wemby missed and Evan Mobley only won it because Victor Wembanyama got hurt. But at the same time, y'all, shouldn't he be second? Where's the respect here? They got Amen Thompson, who I said is going to have a lot more demand offensively, to where we don't know if he's going to be able to bring it on both sides of the court as crazy as he was doing last year. I think people just assume that the Thompson twins are just freak athletes and, the offense side won't matter one bit because they got it defensively. Then you got Chet Holmgren, who I think, again, he wasn't that far off. I think he averaged over 2 blocks per game last year. He wasn't that far off of Wemby last year. He just only played 32 games in the regular season. I said it a lot, and I see a few centers on this list. 3, 4. Center hybrids, at least. I said it in our top 10 centers podcast. Our big men are so good now. Do you remember like 10 years ago? Like, we had no prolific big men, right? We had Andre Drummond, Greg Monroe. Shout out Vucci, baby, out in Chicago in his prime. Our centers now are so damn good, and I think we're spoiled a bit. I did even talk about Dyson Daniels. We'll talk about him later because he got a contract extension. We'll talk about him later, that's for sure. But yeah, obviously we all know he's one of the best players in the league at tipped passes. He led the league as well as steals last year. But unfortunately for Dyson Daniels, Victor Wembanyama, in my professionally unprofessional idea, in my mind, he's running away with this award. This is I think the second most lopsided award on here. You got Cooper Flagg winning Rookie of the Year and Victor Wembanyama winning Defensive Player of the Year. I think that's somewhat of a lock. It should be. If he reaches those amount of games, then he's going to claim Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, let's just ignore the blocked shots here for a second, folks. Let's ignore all that. Let's say that Wemby only gets 2 blocks per game last year. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Let's say he only averages 2 blocks per game. You have to look at the advanced stats and see how many shots he alters around the rim and forces to a miss. A lot of times you'll be able to go up one side with a layup and reverse on the left, or maybe fake one side and put it up on the other. You can't do that on Wemby. Maybe you'll go for a double clutch layup, reverse layup, whatever. Victor Wembanyama is still going to alter the hell out of your shot. So I got Wemby winning Defensive Player of the Year, and I think he's going to win it by a landslide. And that's not to discredit the folks who are also in contention of winning. It's just, he's an alien. He's that good. He is just that freaking good at basketball. So that's why I have Victor Wembanyama winning best defensive player. Up next, we have coach of the year. Not a whole lot to talk about here. They're all pretty even, if you want my honest opinion. We got Jamal Mosley of the Orlando Magic at a plus 600. We got Quinn Snyder of the Atlanta Hawks plus 650. We got JB Bickerstaff of the Detroit Pistons. May as well just take him off because it's not going to win. At a plus 1,000. Mike Brown for the Knicks plus 1,000. Ime Udoka for the Rockets plus 1,500. Darko Rejakovic for the Toronto Raptors at plus 1,500. Now, the reason I said take JB Bickerstaff out is because the Pistons are going to need to win like 55 games to be able to be eligible for this award. And I'm not just saying that as a, no, you need to win plus 55 games to be able to. No. I'm saying, let's say Jamal Mosley or Quinn Snyder won 50 games. Let's say they win 50 games this year, right? They're winning the award. No matter what, they're winning the award. Unless the Thunder break the all-time winning record or they win 70 games, right? The reason I say this is because the Pistons last year, right? We had Cade Cunningham eligible for MVP. Obviously, he didn't win. He was tied for 7th with Anthony Edwards. You had Cade Cunningham for most improved. Didn't win it because they don't want to give it to a previous first round number 1 pick. You had Malik Beasley eligible for 6th man of the year. He had one of the best shooting seasons in NBA history. Right now he's under investigation. Let's see. You had Asar Thompson, right? Defensive player. You had a lot of players eligible for the Pistons and coach JB Bickerstaff. He's the first coach ever to lead a squad that more than tripled their previous year's win total. Okay. He's changed the entire culture in Detroit. Like I said, he's probably gonna have to win 55. It's Detroit versus everybody. I don't know. It's Detroit versus everybody. I don't see any Piston here winning any awards anytime soon. So we got Jamal Mosley at number 1. He's leading the spot for the Magic. And if you can sense a pattern here, pay attention real quick. Jamal Mosley of the Magic. They just acquired Desmond Bane. They're improving their young talent with Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, Jalen Suggs, right? You got Quinn Snyder, who have acquired Luke Kennard, NAW, Kristaps Porzingis. They got Jalen Johnson back from injury. You got the Pistons, who lost Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway, Dennis Schroeder, replaced them with Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, Javonte Green. You got Mike Brown for the Knicks, who's new coach for the Knicks. They're already a good team. They just added a couple of good backup pieces as well. Ime Udoka, they just added Kevin Durant. They added Clint Capella for some stupid reason. They added Dorian Finney-Smith, right? And then you got the Toronto Raptors. I really didn't need to give you this many examples. And then you got the Toronto. These are all off the dome, by the way. So the fact that I'm mentioning all of their key acquisitions is kind of insane. Then you got Darko for the Raptors. They got Brandon Ingram at the trade deadline last year. He didn't play a single game, yet they still extended him. They re-signed Jakob Poeltl. They got Scotty and RJ Barrett. Listen, all of these teams they all share one thing in common. It's that they all technically upgraded their team from last year, right? Especially the Magic. People are expecting a huge leap from Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Suggs, as well as their acquisition of Desmond Bane. So, of course, they think that they're going to see a big leap in wins. Of course. That's why he's leading the pack. Same with Quinn Snyder. I mean, their whole team. Led by Jalen Johnson getting there. But this is Trae Young's year. If they don't lock in at least a playoff spot and win at least one playoff series, Trae Young is out. They didn't extend him. They literally did not give him an extension because they don't want to lock into him. Guess what? Jalen Johnson got his extension, but Trae Young didn't. So you have all of these coaches that are expected to take some minor leaps and some big leaps. And that's why, can we just think for a second? You're telling me Thunder head coach, right? He doesn't belong up here because they won so many games last year. Sorry, what's his name? Frank Dagnall, I think. Why is he not on this list? Aren't they expected to win 60 plus games? That's what I'm talking about. They just want a cute story. That's all. And the fact that JB Bickerstaff did not win it last year with that more than a cute story, he's unbelievable. So my pick, personally, my pick, I'm going to go Mike Brown for the New York Knicks. I don't think they're going to see a significant jump in the regular season and in the regular season wins. I think the East got worse, which helps their case. They're not going to be playing their starters into the ground like they did last year with Tom Thibodeau and the years prior. But I do think their team is a lot more complete this year than they were last year. I think everyone understands their roles. I think now that Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have a full training camp offseason with this team, I think that's only going to help them more. And I think the NBA loves Mike Brown as a head coach, right? I think Mike Brown won the first ever unanimous coach of the year for the Light the Beam Sacramento Kings. I think he could replicate what he did there in New York. My pick is Mike Brown of the New York Knicks. One, it's the Knicks, big market team. Two, it's Mike Brown. The NBA media loves them some Mike Brown. I think he's probably got the best. Obviously, he doesn't have the best odds looking at the betting websites, but in my opinion, I think story-wise, historic franchise, I think Mike Brown's got Coach of the Year next year. Hopefully, for their sake, they improve. But I think especially if Josh Hart wins six man, I think especially if that happens, I think his odds look even better for Coach of the Year. Now, next, we have Clutch Player of the Year. This is our last award that we're going over. Clutch Player of the Year. This is a funny award. Who won it last year? I think Brunson did, right? Well, guess what? Jalen Brunson is leading the pack this year at plus 850, with Anthony Edwards slowly following him at plus 900, tied with Kevin Durant at plus 900. Then you got Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, and Stephen Curry. I'm going to go ahead and roll with Jalen Brunson. I know Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell up there as well. I'm going to just roll with Jalen Brunson, though. After what he did to my Pistons last year, I don't know how I can say anybody else. You can convince me into Ant. You can't convince me into Kevin Durant. The only reason Durant is up there is because he's their only shooter on this team right now. That's the only reason. I think it could go Luka or Jalen Brunson. No hate on Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards. They're great players in their own rights. But I just think they know the system in New York and they know the system in Los Angeles. They want Luka to have that last shot. Just as they want in New York, they want Jalen Brunson to have that last shot. I don't think it's a confusion between who should get it, Ket or Jalen Brunson, right? I think the automatic guarantee is Jalen Brunson. With Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, I don't know if he wants that moment in particular yet. You have Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle who both want it at the end. And then the Rockets, like I said, the only reason Durant's even up here is because he's the only shooter in their starting lineup. You know? My pick is Jalen Brunson. I can't wait for like 10 years from now that like people start respecting this award. Because it really is cool. It's a really cool idea. Now, you're not going to get me to start talking about the like hustle player of the year. You know, I'm not going to start talking about that. But I will talk about the clutch player of the year. And I think Jalen Brunson, I mean, even my fiance knows how damn clutch that guy is. So if somewhat casual fans know what that man does, then I also got to go Jalen Brunson because he's inevitable. He really is inevitable. Well, guys, those are my predictions for all of the awards. I'm going to go run through them one more time just so you're all clear. I got Nikola Jokic winning regular season MVP, his fourth. I got Victor Wembanyama winning Defensive Player of the Year. I got Cooper Flagg winning Rookie of the Year. I got Amen Thompson winning Most Improved Player. I got Josh Hart winning Sixth Man of the Year. I got Jalen Brunson for Clutch Player of the Year. And I got Jamal Mosley of the, my apologies. I got Mike Brown for the New York Knicks winning Coach of the Year. That's all we got for the awards, y'all. Now, I do have a couple things that I do want to talk about. I wanted to mention the recent extensions and like signings just so that you guys are caught up to like what's going on in the NBA right now, as well as players who were announced this week that they'll be missing a portion of the season. Okay. So let's talk about this. I'm going to start from the furthest one back and then move up to yesterday with all of the signings. Okay. So on October 15th, the Sacramento Kings signed Russell Westbrook in free agency to a 1-year veteran minimum $3.6 million contract. Like I said, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on these because you guys have probably listened to podcasts already break it all down. But Russell Westbrook is not needed in Sacramento. Sacramento does not need him. He's going to be wearing number 18 on his jersey because this is 18th season. I've talked about it a lot. Be sure to listen to the podcast where I rank the players in each of their positions. I've talked about the Kings a lot. And I'll be fully honest with all of y'all. This is called basketball, not basketballs, plural, basketball. There is one ball on the court. You have Dennis Schroeder, who needs the ball. You have DeMar DeRozan, who needs the ball. You have Zach LaVine, who needs the ball. You have Keegan Murray, who doesn't dribble the ball, but he wants to shoot the ball. That's all he does. Who needs the ball? You have Domantas Sabonis, who needs the ball. He's also not going to be playing in the first portion of the season, so that should be interesting. You also have Malik Monk off the bench, who needs the ball. Russell Westbrook cannot shoot. Russell Westbrook cannot create his own shot. So I'm afraid whether you're going to be stunting your young guards' growth, I hope they can beat out. If they want those minutes and they got to beat out 18th year Russell Westbrook, I'm afraid as a Russ fan, I'm afraid that he's already, if he has a few bad games, which he's going to, he is going to be added into those montages that you see on Twitter or TikTok of washed up players in their like New Jersey, right? You have Paul George in a Philly jersey. You got Kevin Garnett in a Nets jersey. You got Shaquille O'Neal in a Celtics jersey, right? Those players, I'm afraid that Russell Westbrook is probably going to be joining that montage. I hate to say that. He doesn't need to be needed in Sacramento. They don't need him. They don't need him at all. The next day, the Sacramento Kings got busy and they extended Keegan Murray, 25-year-old, to a 5-year, $140 million, which is the rookie scale, right? This does not surprise me. The Sacramento Kings have no young talent. They have no young prospects. So, of course, they have to lock up their singular young prospect. Keegan Murray, I want to see more out of Keegan Murray. And this should be a big year, but I honestly don't see his stats going up at all because of all the players they have around him. I want to see him with the ball in his hands more, which is a tough ask because look at everyone on this team. I want him to touch the ball. I just don't think he's going to. He's only going to be asked to shoot, and he shoots at a pretty good clip. But I don't know what Keegan Murray can become. Is he just going to be a shooter? Because we all know, like, just pure shooters are in the league for about 10, 12 years, right? That's like the average for, like, really good shooters. Is that all Keegan Murray is? I don't know if that's all Keegan Murray is. But that's all he's shown us. So it truly doesn't surprise me that the Kings paid him. Because the Kings pay anybody. But also, I mean, they got to lock up the one young player they have in the rotation. So it really does not surprise me whatsoever. Shout out Keegan Murray, though. He got his bag. Very happy for the guy. I think that contract sort of stinted the talks with the Pistons for their contract extensions. We'll talk about that. On October 19th, the Houston Rockets extended Kevin Durant, which was a part of their deal. You know, they said that if you trade, I'll sign an extension there. He signed for 2 years, $90 million with a player option. Now, the thing with Kevin Durant, obviously he's worth that money. In fact, he took a pay cut he took a pay cut, which was agreed upon prior to the contract negotiations. He told them that I'll take less money so that you can get more talent, right? So shouts to Kevin Durant there. Now, I'm not going to like give him that much of a pat on the back. Main reason is because he is now officially the highest earner in NBA history as far as just NBA contracts go. I think he's at $590 million. Just contracts. I'm not talking sponsorships, ad deals, none of that. Just his NBA contracts. He is the highest contractual paid player in NBA history. He just passed LeBron by like, I think 8 million or something. So Kevin Durant, 2-year extension. We all expected that. Whether the only thing is, this going to be the last contract that Kevin Durant signs? I don't know. This is going to put him at what, 39 years old? My issue is, or I guess it's not an issue, but Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, I feel like those two players can play until they're 40, 45. Why not? They can both shoot, right? Kevin Durant is still great on defense. Still great on defense. I don't. It's just if they want to continue playing. You know what I'm saying? Like Giannis Antetokounmpo is already talking about how he wants to retire from the NBA and then play for Greece at the end of his career. Now, whether or not that's his mid-30s or end 30s, we don't know. But I feel like Kevin Durant with his play style and Steph Curry with his play style, I feel like they can play until they're well into their 40s. We'll see if they still want to. But this could be the last contract that Kevin Durant signs. No, got me emotional thinking about it. I hate Kevin Durant just for his move to the Warriors, but I love watching Kevin Durant. He's one of my favorite players to watch. It's crazy. I used to be such a KD fan. Okay, let's start speeding through some of this. So on October 21st, the Portland Trailblazers re-signed both guys, Shaedon Sharpe and Toumani Camara. Shaedon Sharpe got 4 years, $90 million. And Toumani Camara got 4 years, $82 million. I think these contracts definitely scared the Pistons front office a lot. I think those are both great players, great young players. I don't think this is a fleece in any way, like on both sides. Fans are saying wholly overpay. This is just how contracts are now in the NBA. If you can score, you got yourself a big contract. If you can defend and score at a decent clip, then you got an NBA contract, right? So I think those both make sense. I'll talk about who didn't get like the main guys who didn't get extensions at the end of this, but both Shaedon Sharpe and Toumani Camara definitely deserve those contracts. Good for them. And Portland got them locked up for 4 years. October 20th, the Indiana Pacers no, I thought they just did. Yeah, this is yesterday. What am I talking about? Indiana Pacers extended Aaron Nesmith to an extension of 2 years and $40 million. I think that's a great pickup. See what you can do. He had an unbelievable playoffs to where you could not re-sign him. He won them multiple games throughout the entire playoffs. So yeah, Aaron Nesmith definitely deserves a 2-year extension, and see what he can do. He's getting paid $20.2 million per year. I think that's more than fine. If he can be just a spot up shooter and then maybe even develop his finishing, yeah, he's going to be in the league for a long time. You got the Atlanta Hawks extending Dyson Daniels for a 4-year, $100 million rookie scale contract. Again, that's great. He's shown that he could be one of the best defenders in the entire league. Now, show us that you can do it on both sides. He started to pick it up later in the last season. He started to take more threes. He started to try to create his own shot. I think him next to Trae Young and Jalen Johnson could be special. It's just a matter of, can they do well this year to hold on to Trae Young? Because he's got a player option. He's got a player option next summer, y'all. And you bet your biscuits that Trae Young is going to want way more money. Way more money. And then lastly, we have the Denver Nuggets extending Christian Braun to a 5-year, $125 million rookie scale extension. I love Christian Braun. Jokic loves Christian Braun. Aaron Gordon loves Christian Braun. Denver fans love Christian Braun. I would love to have Christian Braun on the Pistons. Christian Braun's a great player. Anybody saying wholly overpaid does not watch the Denver Nuggets. He is a great player. And last year, you saw Jokic and him suddenly become one of the deadliest duos. Obviously, you got Jamal Murray in there. But I'm saying, like, Jamal Murray gets his own, he can create his own shot, right? Christian Braun relies heavily on Nikola Jokic until last year where he started to create his own shots. It's fun, man. I think Christian Braun deserves that kind of contract. And we'll see. Maybe a year from now, who knows? Maybe 2 years from now, something, you know, you never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. A couple players that didn't get extensions, in particular, obviously we got the Pistons with Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren. And people understand Jaden Ivey just because broken fibula last year when Cole Anthony dove into his leg. And then this season during preseason, he had that microsurgery in his knee. They had to like clean some debris from his kneecap. And he's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. That was announced last week. So 3 weeks from now, and he'll be reevaluated. Which means he'll probably be playing like in December, my guess, and then get some burn-in and start, ramping up back to speed. We got to see how Jaden Ivey is. Can he be the backcourt of the future next to Cade Cunningham? We haven't seen it. Last year we saw it for 30 games until he went out. And just as he was getting rolling, just as he was shooting like 43% from three, just as his finishing was starting to slowly improve, just as the Pistons started winning games last year, he got knocked out. But that's not really Jalen Duren is who I see everyone mocking the Pistons about. Everyone is mocking them. For non-Pistons watchers, you see the Jalen Duren highlights and you think, man, this guy, the Pistons are stupid for not extending him. Couple reasons why they say that. They don't understand how the NBA works. Both Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren will be restricted free agents next summer, meaning the Lakers can offer Duren 4 years, $95 million. So we get to match that and counter. We always get to counter. So the only way he leaves the Pistons next offseason is if we don't counter. But I can guarantee you we will counter. I guarantee you we will counter. We can offer him more years and more money. Okay. Jalen Duren, at the first 23 games of the year, was horrible. He came out and said it, that he was horrible and he was playing soft. All of a sudden, Asar Thompson comes back and Jalen Duren, all of his numbers and efficiency skyrocket. Points, rebounds, assists, turnovers, blocks, rebounds, they all went up. They all went up. People are not looking at Asar Thompson as serious as they need to right now. He makes everybody around them better. Cade and Duren included. Duren can't play a lick of defense on the perimeter. He lacks effort. You saw Karl Anthony Towns carve him up in the playoffs last year. If we had Isaiah Stewart, who's our big man off the bench, who can guard the perimeter at a great rate, the series would have went differently last year. Jalen Duren's a decent post defender, but when it comes to any big man that stretches the half court, Jalen Duren gets cooked every time. Jakob Poeltl dropped 30 on us last year. Miles Turner looked like the reincarnation of Kareem every game we played him. Domantas Sabonis kills us every single time. Whenever there's a big man that can shoot a midi or especially a three, we get fried. Jokic just looks like God on the court. So Jalen Duren, if he can step up defensively, if he can increase his effort on that side, extend him, man. That's all good. Just match that offer. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that Jalen Duren is, he's a great player. It's just effort. I know he can guard the perimeter, and I know he knows he can as well. He's too athletic, too quick, too strong to not put that effort on that side. Now, this podcast has dragged a little bit longer than I want it to be. Players that announced that they were missing time at the start of the season. LeBron James out with sciatica, old man injury. He's out 3 to 4 weeks, potentially into mid-November. Jaden Ivey for the Pistons underwent minor knee surgery. Will miss at least 4 weeks. I think he'll miss 6. Scottie Pippen Jr. from the Grizzlies had toe surgery, expected to be out for 12 weeks. That is so bad. But at least they got Ty Jerome. Dorian Finney-Smith of the Rockets recovering from an ankle surgery, likely to miss the beginning of the season. We talked about Fred VanVleet. We all know Tatum, Halliburton, Kyrie. We all know them. Yeah, and then there's a couple minor ones like Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, we all knew about this. Tyler Hero, Paul George. We all know them. Guys, that's going to do it for the last podcast before the NBA season kicks off. Tips off. Sorry, football season as well. Guys, be sure to drop a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Music as well. Dropping a follow over there would mean the world. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, comment your picks as well. Love to hear them. Be sure to join the Discord server down below. Follow my Twitter. Subscribe to our main YouTube channel. Follow the Twitch stream. Jay-Z Uncut. All of the links will be down below. Remember, starting tomorrow, October 22nd, we will be covering the games from last night, talking about positive, talking about bold takes, way too early opinions. We are going to be doing this podcast live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, October 22nd, 9 a.m. Eastern, live on this YouTube channel, on Twitch, everywhere. Guys, I got nothing left to say, except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Leave a 5-star reviews and likes, and thanks for watching / listening. I'll see you guys in the next one.